Steph Curry returns to the floor, and in case you were wondering, Father Time has not gotten to this guy yet. Mama, there goes that man again.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast.
What are they going to say now?
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is the good word, everyone? Welcome to Locked On Warriors. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We appreciate the everydayers that make this show a part of their day, a part of their week, all the time. You can find it Monday through Friday, live after the games on YouTube and wherever you get your audio podcast. If you join us on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, and don't forget to join us on the audio podcast platform. Take us on the go. It's easy work. You don't have to see our faces. Matt Kolsky joins the program today. I can't even see his face because the Wi-Fi bug has gotten to him. The good thing is I don't need to see him. I just need to hear him. You sound great, Kolsky. The Warriors look great in stretches. 118, 111. They win. We're going to break it down. But first, we tell you that today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. On the show, Steph Curry still has it, clearly. Splendid sequences. I thought there were moments where the Warriors just looked awesome. JK shined, Podziemski struggled, and Will Richard, what did we think of him in his first start as a Warrior? The lead is Steph Curry, man. In 27 minutes, puts up 15 shots, hits 4 threes, gets to the line 13 times, hits 12 of them, had 6 boards, had 5 assists, had a defensive play where he stripped it off someone's leg and got hyped. 28 points in a preseason game. The man never ceases to amaze you.
26 and a half minutes, 28 points. You'll take that any way you can get it. Not his most efficient shooting night, but listen, man, just protect Steph Curry at all costs. That's not just the season.
When he tripped over the camera guy, man,
oh
God, I was like, get up. Get up. He popped right up.
Right. It's not just the Warriors season. It's not just that he's the franchise. It's that nobody nationally, nobody locally, nobody wants to watch a season that doesn't involve Steph Curry as the primary protagonist. So, boy, I'm not sure I'm playing him again in the preseason if I'm Steve Kerr, because I love to see Steph get to the line. 12 of 13 free throws sounds great for a regular season game, but I don't need him taking the level of abuse that gets him to the line 13 times in another preseason game. So, I'm glad he seems unscathed, and I'm glad. Look, this was a game where he didn't have the shot going, and you certainly could have excused him in a preseason game if he just didn't ever really get into it. But he worked his way into a heck of a game, which is, I think, something that strikes me as one of the first things that's going to go, right? He's going to be able to shoot the ball for a long, long time. But on the nights where the shot isn't falling at the start, is he going to be able to work his way into the lane, draw contact, take that level of abuse over the course of a whole night? And granted, this was only 26 and a half minutes, but that's the part that when he's not able to do that anymore, he's just going to be a different kind of player. And as several people in the chat have said, he does not appear to be anywhere near losing those abilities. So
no, man, it looks like more of what we saw in Boston in 2022. Like, it doesn't look that far off to the point where he just goes out there and balls. 6 of 15, extremely efficient. And like you said, it didn't feel like it was one of those blazing starts. But he picked it up. The team picked it up. The ball movement specifically at the end of the first half and the start of the second half was awesome. Around the time where that Kuminga ejection sequence happened was when I thought the Warriors were really whipping it around and playing some unreal basketball. But let's get into Will Richard, because he obviously gets the start next to Steph Curry. Reasoning for him getting as much run as he did with the starters today is because Steve Kerr wants to see how he fares with the starters. He likes Will Richard. 4 of 7, 3 of 5 from 3, 6 rebounds, a couple of them offensive. had a steal, a couple of assists. Now, you don't like the 5 turnovers, but I mean, we're talking about an NBA player that's logged the most minutes of his young career tonight and looked pretty decent.
Yes.
Against Blazers starters, I should say. They ran most of their guys throughout the night.
Yeah. Not perfect. He's a second-round rookie, but he is a heck of an energy guy. And I think that's what Steve Kerr wants to see. Can he be an energy piece in a lineup with a lot of highly professional players and plenty of scoring? I don't think you're going to see Will Richard out there with guys like Gary Payton and, like a bunch of the non-scorers on the bench. But when you have scoring in the lineup, and in particular when Steph is out there, I mean, listen, you can throw GP out there with Steph, right? But Will Richard is a lot bigger. And I really do think that they are going to be looking at this kid, especially if the guard lineup is beat up like it is right now, right? I mean, you're missing Moody, Seth, Melton, I guess, Butler, if you count him as part of that. I really think Will Richard. Now, look, when Melton gets back, that may be the end of Will Richard as a guy who's playing significant minutes. But I expect to see him getting some chances early. Again, in particular, if Moses Moody's injury keeps him out for any period of time. A guy who's long, can play defense against a lot of different wing positions, and fingers crossed can knock down a 3. He did it tonight. I still think it looks terrible when he shoots the ball, but that works for some guys. So, we'll see over time if it falls consistently. I don't know that it will, but if he shoots like he did tonight from 3, he's going to play a lot.
He was 35% at Florida. I would expect nothing more than that, but hell, if he can hit 35% and play NBA-worthy defense and grab boards, he's got active hands and he's got long arms. He's got a long wingspan,
really long
and let's not forget he's old. Like he
flies around out there.
Yeah, knows the game.
Yeah.
Speaking of a guy that knows the game, man, Al Horford. Let's get into him. He had 8 points, knocked down a couple of threes, has like a telepathic connection with Steph Curry already, which makes sense. All things considered. And he really wants to move it, man. Like he got it pumped and went and then dished it to the corner for a open Podziemski 3. Podziemski missed the 3. I think he found Podziemski on another 3. He missed it. Maybe found Podziemski on a jumper. He missed it. In short, Podziemski was 1 of 9. But Horford had actually he had 1 assist, but probably could have had 4 if Podziemski would have knocked down some shots. Anyways, enough of bagging on Podziemski. He was great in the last game, so that's just life.
Yeah.
You have good, you have some bad. But what I really liked about him were the 2 blocks at the rim, man. He shows you that even at this age, he can still get up there and block some shots, because I think it wasn't Klingon, that's for sure. I don't know who was in the lane.
It was Klingon.
It was Klingon that he swatted?
Yes. I was
that
shocked.
Big-ass man.
Dude, first of all, Donovan Klingon is
a Yeti.
Gigantic. He is. Yeah. I mean, Quentin Post is legitimately 7 feet tall, and Klingon makes him look small, both height and width. Like, not a ton of muscle. He'll get bigger as time goes on, but just like his shoulders are, it seems like 5 feet wide. The dude is a mountain of a man. And I think you could see, even Post had a really tough time with that. TJD, it is just not big enough. But Al Horford, despite, relative lack of size, I thought did a heck of a job on Klingon in general. And that shows you why he's valuable, right? Al Horford is a smaller guy than Post, I'm pretty sure. Certainly shorter. Yeah. Yeah. But the experience, the I think, core strength and the understanding of how to use his body at the NBA level, I think you saw it in action tonight, and
it's core strength. You said it, man. It's grown man strength. Yeah. And that's where, I look at a team like Houston, and Reed Shepherd may really break out this year and be awesome. But when playoffs come to shove, like, you're going to trust a grown man pushing around Reed Shepherd at this point. And it's the same way with Horford and Klingon. Klingon's he's a big man, but he doesn't have that old man core strength that you get.
Yeah, no, you're right. Al Horford definitely is in old man strength territory, much like Kevon Looney was. And I think defensively, much like Looney, although even better
Looney's
around
not
the
even
rim.
30. Yeah, but he still has that old man strength.
But he's got old man strength. And Al Horford's a better athlete than Looney, even at 39. So there's a lot to like about this guy. He is kind of like Looney with a plus offensive game. And that is certainly, as someone in the chat said, it's just what the doctor ordered.
It is.
They've never had the stretch five. And dude, this is
how about
the sort
him
of game
putting it
where
on
you
the
see
deck?
it.
And he put it on the deck at the end of a shot clock and hit a little turnaround, a little hook.
And he missed
the
running.
Shot clock expired.
He missed a runner on one of those too. But like he's just really good. And look, you look around the league. It may only be a couple of centers that are MVP contenders, but it's getting to the point where almost everybody has a large 7-footer you're going to have to deal with at some level. Like Donovan Klingon's not a great player, but you can see if you don't have somebody to deal with that massive body, he'll beat you up on the glass. He'll make it really tough for you to score in the lane. Like it's nice to have big guys that you can trust in big moments, and that has not always been something the Warriors have had.
Klingon did all right today. 15 points, 11 rebounds. He was up there for the team lead. Shaedon Sharpe had 18. Caleb Love had 17 off the bench. And then Avdia, the turnovers are alarming for him. Aside from that, Turbo's got a nice game, but he's got to protect the basketball. He had 5 of them today for Portland, where he coughed it up. When we return, let's talk some Jonathan Kuminga. He shined, and then he had to hit the showers. They said, see ya. Although on the Blazers broadcast that I don't know if everyone else was watching on NBA League Pass, they didn't even show it. So I still don't know what he did, but we're going to talk about this coming up on Locked On Warriors. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Most people cannot name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. It's built for people with busy lives. If you've put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. It'll do the hefty lifting. You can identify why you're not saving as much as you thought, helps you notice inefficient investment allocation, discover 401ks from the past. We've all done this. You switch jobs, you may have a few $1,000. Discover that. Transfer it over. Don't leave any stone unturned. And don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com. In your browser, you'll get half off your first year, 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com using code LOCKEDONNBA. Today's episode is also brought to you by Gametime. Basketball season is officially here. Nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's be real, getting tickets can be a total headache between waiting and queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout. It's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team. That's where Gametime comes in. It's the app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Gametime. Find some $25 or less NBA tickets. Download the Gametime app, create an account. Use code LOCKEDONNBA. You'll get $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for 20% off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. All right, Kolsky. So the night that Jonathan Kuminga had can kind of be summarized by a sequence late in the first half that experienced some great ball movement. Pods, like I said earlier, he just wasn't hitting shots tonight. He had some really good looks, just couldn't hit anything. It happens. but the ball movement was there. It was a post open three. Then it was a Richard open three. Then Pods hit an open three. Then Pods passed up a three and kicked it to Richard, who knocked down another one. Then it's Kuminga, who leaks out in transition and throws down a hammer jam. It was a championship sequence for a good 3 minutes there, where the Warriors were just playing impeccable basketball 1 through 5. And then Kuminga, after really getting off to an awesome start, he had no rebounds in that game against the Lakers in 22 minutes. In the first 3 minutes of this game, he had 3 rebounds, grabbed 6 total, had 4 assists, only turned it over twice, and had 7 points, 3 of 5, didn't take a three. He looked good, and he gets ejected. He was frustrated, thought he got fouled. We don't see any Kuminga in the second half, but I guess where do we take this? You happy with the performance? Are you upset that he got ejected in the preseason game because you wanted to see more? How do we feel?
Yeah, it's unfortunately stupid that he got ejected. It's hard to know how stupid it was on his part and how stupid it was on the ref's part because we didn't freaking see it. I don't know how in 2025 you could have NAN cameras on someone getting ejected. It's whatever. Not the Warriors broadcast, by the way. But
no, and that Blazers announcer, the play-by-play guy, it was clearly preseason. He was going, he was wilding out there. He was going crazy.
I like Kevin Calabro, but it wasn't a good game for anybody on the broadcast side.
He was just letting it rip.
So, listen, I don't want to argue with the people that hate Jonathan Kuminga because I guess there are people who are just never going to be happy. Yeah, they said he made contact with the ref. Again, apparently he did. I would love to have seen exactly what happened because that's one tech. Whatever, who cares? He shouldn't have gotten ejected. Bottom line, you got to get over it. It's a preseason game. But he did get fouled, and he does get a lot of contact, and he wasn't getting any whistles. And the Warriors in general, before tonight, had a real tough time getting whistles so far in the preseason. So, whatever. Someone in the chat is saying Kerr said he loved the fire from Jonathan Kuminga. And I guess I don't know if that's true, but I would say you don't see a lot of fire from Jonathan Kuminga. So even if it is fighting with a ref, I guess maybe there's a positive spin on it. Putting aside the ejection, which is stupid by everybody involved, as far as I'm concerned. He's not going to suddenly become someone he's not. But what I see, and I don't really think there's much of an argument, what I see is a guy who is making an obvious and concerted effort to do the things that the coach wants him to do.
He's passed first.
He's
been passed first.
He had 4 assists and 5 field goal attempts in his 18 minutes tonight, and he could have had 4 or 5 more assists if someone you've already mentioned and some other guys we haven't mentioned were knocking down shots. So I thought he was really good. I thought he has. I know we made a big deal of everyone wants to talk about 0 rebounds last game, but I did not think the rebounding effort was as bad as 0 rebounds is suggested. And I think you saw tonight that effort was there again. He got a few more bounces his way, but he's looking to pass. Yeah, this is it. That comment is I totally agree with Michael. He is playing like a guy who wants to be here. He has said he wants to be here. He's playing like a guy who wants to be here, like a guy who is taking the notes that the coaching staff is giving him. And by the way, he's also playing like a guy who got better at some relevant things this summer, like ball handling. Look, if they're going to employ him as essentially a point forward, the turnover numbers are going to be higher than you'd like. Mm-hmm. We're not going to fix that this year, but I see a guy who's much more confident with his handle, much less likely to just dribble it off his foot when he drives into traffic. And honestly, he's got his eyes up looking for his teammates at a level we haven't seen before. I mean, that pass that he threw Al Horford's hands, maybe it was a little hot, but the look was excellent. he made a cross-court pass to Brandon Podziemski that he threw out of bounds over his head. But again, seeing the open man from the opposite corner is progress. And honestly, I'm not sure seeing it is progress, but attempting the pass is progress. And I'm still hopeful. I am hopeful. I'm not thinking about the long-term future, but I am hopeful from what I've seen that Jonathan Kuminga can get enough playing time and make a positive enough impact that the Warriors will have options in January. And they can make the decision, okay, do we want to stick with this guy or do we want to mortgage it a little bit and try to get, the best player for fit right now? But in order for them to have options in terms of who they'd like to trade for and just whether they want to move on from Kuminga or not, he's got to play well. So I think it's so far so good. None of this really matters till we get to the regular season, but I don't know that he could be doing a much better job of following the prescription he's been given in the preseason.
Do you see any, because you're a huge Draymond guy, you got the picture over your right shoulder. Do you see any scenario this season now that, Draymond's 36, something like that in age historically, where you tend to drop off a little bit? I've heard some comments that he looks a little slower entering this season, hasn't necessarily looked awesome in the preseason. Is there any scenario here where maybe Kuminga kind of slides into a more prominent role, taking over, maybe not half and half, but, like a 1A, 1B type situation, playing that 4 spot and running the point 4? Or what do you think? Because he's got that ability to grab it and go. And if he continues to make good decisions, he gives you more offensively than Draymond. That's all I'm going to say. He's finishing his layups.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. Al Horford gives you the ability to do that in stretches. Because quite obviously, I mean, it doesn't require much analysis. What you lose going from Draymond to Kuminga is substantial in terms of organizing and playing defense.
Mm-hmm.
Al Horford can
Jimmy?
be the anchor of your well, yeah, but the Draymond is playing 4 or 5. He's on the back line. He's organizing everybody. Jimmy can do some of that, and Jimmy's a great team defender, but it's not the same. And whether Jimmy's out there or not, you're still downgrading significantly on that end from Draymond. To Kuminga, you're upgrading significantly on the other end in a lot of ways. But again, Al Horford, because of his ability to organize your defense and play center and protect the rim and also shoot the 3, he makes those switches possible. Now, is Jonathan Kuminga going to take over Draymond's role? No, not in any universe. But does Horford with JK give you a look you can go to that should work when you want Draymond to play a little less so that he is healthier and, less beat up when you get to the playoffs? Yeah, I think so. I definitely think that is Kuminga's role on this team right now. And on a lot of teams, I'll really get my chance when those guys aren't playing or need rest is maybe not a huge role. But on this team, that could be a very big role, just if the coaching staff wants to approach the season carefully with the old guys that the team is built around.
When we return, we look into the final week before Warriors basketball begins for real. Kind of update you on some of the injuries in case you are not up to date. Jimmy Butler, the latest on that after he received some scanning. We can exhale. All is well. Goose Fraba. This is Locked On Warriors, and we'll return after this. Today's episode is brought to you by America's #1 sportsbook. You know what that is. That is FanDuel, and now is a great time to get in on the action with NBA here. NFL season already underway, and right now new customers can bet just $5. You'll get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That is right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. My favorite thing about FanDuel, it's all the different ways you can get in on the action, from parlays to player props, future bets. And if you missed the start of the game, no worries. You got live lines. Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and to get started. All right, man. So we begin the season in a week. We know that DeAnthony Melton will begin the year rehabbing. That knee that he I guess it was December of last year, underwent ACL surgery. That knee's still recovering, so we won't see Melton until at least November. Seth Curry, I don't really know what the deal is with Seth Curry, honestly. Like there were the talks of, okay, he can't be signed until November, but he's on the Exhibit 9. Can he play in the preseason on the Exhibit 9? I really haven't heard any updates from that end, but Seth Curry, another name. And then Jimmy Butler is the one we want to know, because we know Moses Moody is, per Steve Kerr, dealing with a calf that is nothing serious, and he's not too worried about it, but will miss all of preseason. Jimmy Butler, meanwhile, has been having some swelling in his ankle, received some testing on it, and all tests came back clean, no structural damage, anything like that. So Butler should be good to go too, but this is just kind of the nature of the game. It's any team. I mean, hell, the Pacers were able to go the distance, until Halliburton goes down, and that'll put a damper on your season any point. With any team, it's the name of the game. Injuries, MRIs, day-to-day, nagging, words that we do not want to hear this time of year, Kolsky, but so far, so good in terms of avoiding anything catastrophic or even any hamstring-related injury like Jalen Green just suffered that'll keep him out for weeks.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a, Quentin Post, Will Richard, LJ Cryer, etc. starting lineup on, what is it, Friday they play the Clippers.
You've seen enough at this point. You're good.
What are we learning? I don't know. I don't know, man. I certainly don't need to see Steph Curry.
That lineup with Curry after the start, I thought, he showed you all you need to see in the preseason. He was a plus 13 today, and the Warriors were the significantly better team when he was on the floor doing good things. So,
and even JK, even Pajemski, like, what's the point? You're already teetering on the edge with injuries, and the season hasn't even begun yet. I don't know that there's any point in playing anyone who matters on in the final preseason game. That's just me, but we'll see what happens on that front. As far as Jimmy, no news is good news. Like, if there's nothing structural, no issues, then he should be fine. But you're right. This is the way the preseason has gone from a health perspective is an omen. I wouldn't necessarily call it a bad omen, but it's definitely some foreshadowing. So let's just all be careful. Let's everybody just be careful. Everyone be careful out there.
I was in I was up in the sky the other day, and I ended up watching the Tim Robinson movie with Paul Rudd, Friendship, which was funny. But I was deciding between that and the new Final Destination. I was like, I can't do that in the sky, No, I saw one of the. Oh God, brutal, Kolsky, brutal. Preseason just about over. We got one more game against the Los Angeles Clippers, and around the association tonight, some of the performances that you will definitely want to know about. The Cleveland Cavaliers, they're starting to play all their guys. Mitchell had 17 in that game to lead the way. Denver Nuggets played tonight against the Chicago Bulls. Again, I've been talking a lot about Matas Buzelis. If you have not heard of him for the Bulls, he was their first-round pick a season ago, and he's been lighting it up this preseason. He's a 6'10 guy with some real fluidity and a nice three-point stroke. He had 20 points. Giddey had 25 for Chicago. For the Nuggets, they got 30 from Jamal Murray, who's expected to have somewhat of a bounce-back season. Jokic at 18, Cam Johnson at 11, Gordon 17. I just love running through the stats right now because it just shows you how close real basketball truly is, even though it doesn't feel like it. I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander put up 23 points tonight. So we got to see a little bit of everything. We do know this. If you have not heard, the Los Angeles Lakers will be without LeBron James on opening night when they welcome in the Golden State Warriors. However, Luka Doncic will be good to go. He had 25, as did Austin Reeves tonight for the Lakers. They lost to the Suns, who were led by Jared Butler, actually, who had 35 points. They lost to a lineup of Malawak, Fleming, Nigel Hayes-Davis, Jordan Goodwin, and Jared Butler. So, brutal times over there for the Lakers in the preseason, despite their one win over the Warriors. That's kind of what we've seen from around the association in games that don't necessarily matter. But again, most of the mainstays in the NBA making a print on the box scores tonight. Any final thoughts from this Warriors 7-point win to go to 3-1 in the preseason?
Yeah, I mean, for me, this preseason is just about staying healthy. And we've done that to this point. Other than that, the Will Richard thing is really interesting. Last year in the preseason, we talked about how we likely would not see Quentin Post all year. This season, before the preseason began, we talked about Will Richard probably not being a factor in this season of NBA basketball. And we may be wrong a lot faster on Will Richard than we were on Quentin Post, because Steve Kerr was glowing about him in the presser, per all the beat writers. And you can just see it, right? You can see how and why this guy fits in. There were a couple of plays tonight. One, I mean, the defense is obvious. He's hustling his butt off. He's long. He's fighting over picks. Like, he's doing all the things. On offense, there were two plays for me, both passes, that exemplify why he's a Steve Kerr guy. One was caught it, had a decent look for three, pump faked it, drew the defense, found an open shooter for a made three. The other one was during that stretch you were talking about, where in at the end of the second quarter, where things were really humming and it looked like, this is Warriors basketball. There was a play where, he caught it in the corner and it had been swinging around. Someone had driven, kicked it out to him in the corner, and it was just the quickest touch pass you've ever seen to the next guy. And those are nothing plays ultimately, except that they're exactly the things that Steve Kerr is impressed by in a rookie, right? It's not jumping out of the gym. It's not, a dunk or a hot stretch of offense. It's, do you know what I want you to do on the offensive side of the ball? And are you giving me everything you've got on defense? And Will Richard is doing both of those things. So at this point, I think I'll be a little surprised if we don't see him early in the season. That'll be an opportunity for him to distinguish himself out of this guard rotation before DeAnthony Melton, who is another guy that Steve Kerr really likes, is back healthy. And, there's a lot of guards, but if Will Richard proves to be the best defender among them, which is not outside the realm of possibility, he will find time on the floor.
Amen. Appreciate the live comments tonight, Locked On Warriors. If you haven't already, hit that smash that like, smash. I should say. Hit that smash. Smash that like, hit that subscribe, and check us out wherever you get your audio podcasts. And if you have the time, 10 seconds, 5-star reviews on the podcast platform, it's very much appreciated. Matt Kolsky, I'm Charlie Walter. This is Locked On Warriors, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. See you soon.
1 week to